Shut up, girl. Okay. Scoot over. There you go. I should go get me some water. Because if I drink too much of that coffee. Do y'all like these? I want somebody to tell me that these have not gotten thinner. And it's just my imagination. Because to me, these have gotten a lot thinner. They're not, they used to be thicker back in the day. Or do they just feel thinner to me? They feel like they've gotten thin. I mean, I like them. I don't dislike them. The flavor is still there, but they just seem thin. I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. Keep them company, Gizmo. You're not going nowhere. You stuck with me, buddy. You gotta stay with mommy. You be thinking you always gonna go with daddy. You not gonna always go with daddy. Sometimes you gotta stay here with me. And this is one of those times. Buddy. Buddy. I'm gonna let YouTube send out. Did I bring my other phone over here? If I did, I don't know where it's at. I'm gonna try to wait on YouTube to send out some of the notifications to let y'all know that I'm here. And hopefully my black privilege shows again in this video, because yesterday somebody said that my black privilege was showing. So I hope it shows again in this video, because I want to be out here showing my black privilege. And if saying somebody was white is me showing my black privilege, then I want to be out here showing my black privilege every day. Because I didn't get to bring that up yesterday because I was too busy talking. But trust me, I don't forget shit that y'all say. So, if my black privilege was showing yesterday, I definitely hope it's showing today. Okay? Because I'm going to say white people in context. I'm going to say it in context. I'm going to say it out of context. I'm going to say it whenever I want to say it. If I want to say white people, I'm going to say white people. And if that bothers you, this the wrong channel for you. Because I'm going to say white people. I'm going to say black people. I'm going to say Hispanic people. I'm going to say Asian people. Whatever people I want to say, I'm going to say it. Okay, thank you for your subscription. Whatever people I want to say, I'm going to say it. And if that bothers you, then you need to go and figure out why that's bothering you. And I need you to figure out why my having black privilege bothers you. That's your homework for today. If it bothers you that I have black privilege, I need you to go figure out why it bothers you that I have black privilege. That's your homework. Do that. Okay? I need you to do that. So, what we talking about today, we're going to continue on the theme that I started yesterday. Yesterday, I talked about childhood trauma And I talked about my own trauma, my own childhood trauma. And to be honest, no, I'm not going to say I didn't have a lot of childhood trauma because I did. I had enough childhood trauma to make me go to therapy. So I did have a lot of childhood trauma. But my childhood trauma wasn't like being bullied in school. It wasn't that type of childhood trauma. Like the stuff that I endured, like in high school, being called, did they really call me fat though? I don't know. Most of the trauma that I endured in high school wasn't from other people. It was internalized trauma. It was stuff that I made up about myself. Like it was weird stuff like me comparing myself to other girls. And that's not weird. I think all teenagers do that. So, it was more of me comparing myself to other girls, to my peers, than it was my actual peers teasing me or, telling me that I wasn't pretty because I don't really remember them telling me that I wasn't pretty. They didn't tell me I wasn't pretty. They just told me stuff like um I wasn't pretty enough to be a cheerleader. I remember that. But I don't even think it was I wasn't pretty enough to be a cheerleader. I think I was too uncoordinated to be a cheerleader. I wasn't coordinated. I was very clumsy as a teenager. I do remember that. I remember being clumsy. And this whole all black people can dance, all black people have rhythm, that gene skipped me. I don't have the dance coordinated dancing gene. I don't have none of that. I can't dance for shit. To this day. I couldn't dance in school and I still can't dance. Okay? I my counting and rhythm and remembrance, that's horrible. So being a cheerleader was not going to ever uh be a part of my history. Now I am living vicariously through my granddaughter who is a cheerleader now, and she doesn't understand how involved I want to be. Like, I want to see all her pictures. I want her to take pictures in her uniform. I want her to send it to me. I want videos from the game where she's cheering. And she just is like, I don't want to do all that. And I don't understand why. She don't understand that I didn't, this is not the life. You're living the life that I wanted to live. Very popular, very pretty. I mean, my granddaughter is a very pretty girl. Just pretty. Tall, naturally curly hair. Just pretty. Mixed girl. And mixed is in right now. Whether y'all want to accept it or not, the racially ambiguous girl is in right now. So you can't really, people have mistaken her for so many things. Like, some people think that she's Hispanic and black. Some people think she may be Tongan or Hawaiian and black or something in black. She is Filipino in black. And she has a, to me, racially ambiguous look. But if I look at her hard enough, she looks Filipino to me because she looks so much like her mother. But if I didn't know her mother, I probably wouldn't know, you know, what she was mixed with. She is living the life that I wanted in high school. Popular, cute, cheerleader, basketball player, you know, in with the in girls. I wasn't, no, I was with the nerds. I mean, serious nerds. I was one of the nerdy kids. I mean, me and my whole clique, we all wore glasses. We didn't get teased. And I think the reason why we didn't get teased is a lot of us that went to high school together, we have been together for so long. We have a lot of us went to elementary school together. We went to we went to more than one elementary school together. Then we all as a group went to junior high school together because it wasn't middle school back then. It was junior high school. We all went to junior high school together. And when it got time for high school, the bulk of us went to high school together because we all basically lived in the same community. So we had known each other. A lot of us had known each other since elementary school. So we were basically cool with each other. You know, the core group of us. So we didn't tease each other like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't a whole lot of like teasing, especially by the time we got to high school. Like you may have been shunned, you know. I didn't have a boyfriend in high school, but the boys wasn't throwing wet paper towels at me or pulling my hair or trying to push me down in the hallway and stuff. It wasn't that bad. Like I didn't experience any of that. But I did, experience the, oh, I'm not as cute as she is, or my hair is not, well, I had decent hair. I had nice hair back then. So I'm not going to say my hair is not long as hers. Because I did have decent hair. I had pretty hair. But I just wasn't skinny. I wasn't thin. I was bigger than the girls my age. Yeah, it's a good thing that they didn't tease me. That's a good thing. There was not a whole lot of bullying. But I mean, I did see some kids who would get bullied, like the stinky kids or the kids that, wore like their clothes may not have been as up to date or as cute as some of the other kids because in high school we started wearing Nikes. Like Nikes got really popular in high school. I think that's when Nike got real popular. Before then, it didn't really matter what tennis shoes you were wearing because we were wearing Keds. We were wearing a lot of Keds and these other tennis shoes, Ken Rosewalls. I don't even think they make those anymore, but those were my favorites. They were like tennis shoes for people that actually played tennis. And I wore those all the time. I never liked tennis, but I wore those tennis shoes. But Nikes got really popular, I think, my ninth grade year of high school. And this was in the 70s because I graduated from high school in 82. So Nikes got really popular. And if you were a kid that were wearing what we used to call bubble gums, and you could buy bubble gums at like, Back in the day, the grocery store sold shoes, and they had shoes just in a big old box, and you just had to basically dive in there and find your size. And we called those the bubble gums. And if you was wearing bubble gums in high school, you got teased. And I wanted to make sure, like my mom would buy me bubble gums, but the bubble gums was for me to play outside. Like when I came home, when you come home from school, you take off your school clothes, okay? And you put them away and you put on your play clothes. And your play clothes was like your last year's school clothes. I remember coming in from school, changing my clothes, changing your shoes because you don't play in your school shoes. Putting all that stuff away, putting on my play clothes and going outside. So the bubble gums was your play shoes. You could still have them, but you didn't wear them to school. So if the kids came to school in what we would consider bubble gums, or if they looked like their parents shopped at the thrift store or something like that, those were the kids that got teased. And you want to make sure that you didn't fall in that category because I didn't want them problems. So I always went to school looking nice, dressed nice, smelling good, hair done, the whole 9 yards, because I didn't want to be one of the kids, because I already knew I had strikes against me for being fat and and wearing glasses. So I didn't want to be teased also for not looking good. Yeah, Nike is still popular, Jordan, all of that kind of stuff. But we didn't have Jordans. These was just plain Nikes with the swoosh. Just, I think mine were like blue and white. Just plain Nikes, not even Jordans. Just plain Nikes. Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for the kids that were being teased, but I didn't want to be them. You know what I mean? Like you can feel bad you can have empathy for somebody, but you don't want to be them. You didn't want to be in that category. Yeah, we didn't have a clue what Jordan. Phyllis, is that you, girl? Is that my Phyllis? Girl, you been gone for so long, I done forgot all about you. Girl, I am shocked, Phyllis. It is good to see you, girl. I just started back to doing lives. You came at the right time. Because I just started back to doing lives. Like, I don't even know if I'm back yet. I was here yesterday. I don't do them as often as I used to. I have one pair of Jordans. And my son kind of, I don't know, child. I don't know why I bought them damn Jordans. Because they not even that comfortable. They are definitely not. Lord, somebody didn't trigger Gizmo. Hi, Mickey. Jordans are not even comfortable. I don't even see why these kids look. But, it's a status thing. Because it was a status thing back then, too. Because I think back then the Nikes was like 30 something dollars. And that was kind of expensive back then for a pair of tennis shoes. I think they were like $35, $40 for some Nikes. And you walking around with Nikes, people would be like, oh, okay, well, your parents got a little bit of money. Cause you walking around in Nikes. And I wanted like the Nike jacket, the Nikes, or the back then we you could, it was okay to mix. You could have the Adidas, you could have on an Adidas sweatsuit and some Nikes. It was okay to mix it up back then. I mean, if you really had it going on, you had Adidas sweatsuit and Adidas tennis shoes. But you can mix it up. At the school that I went to, they wouldn't, because you still had on name brand. So nobody was tripping. Oh yeah, then the honey, when the Jordans didn't come out until my kids, um until I had kids. That's when the Jordans got popular. I don't remember when the Air Maxes came out, but we were definitely wearing Nikes. I think later they started when Adidas got popular. Adidas got popular a little bit later. But anyway, if I didn't get teased because I dressed somewhat decent. I dressed cute. So the kids didn't tease me. But I think I was my biggest critic, comparing myself to other girls, comparing myself to the quote unquote pretty girls. I was my worst critic. I went to school comparing myself to the girls that were considered the girls that were like the cheerleaders, the pom pom girls. I'm comparing myself to them. I remember I stressed myself completely out. My mother didn't know how stressed out I was. I stressed myself completely out. Okay, Lee Taco Bells. I stressed myself completely out the week of senior pictures. When we were taking our senior pictures, I knew that we had to wear that wrap thing, and it shows off all of this is out, and your collarbone is showing in the thing because you just have on this like wrap thing for your senior picture. And the boys were saying stuff like, if your collarbone don't show, that means you fat. Mine didn't show. And I had already looked at the yearbook from the year before, and I saw all of the girls whose collarbones were showing and mine wasn't. The week before senior pictures, I'm all in the mirror trying to figure out how am I going to take this picture and force my collarbones to show so that I don't look fat. Stressed out, crying at night because I didn't want my yearbook picture to be fat. It was fat. The collarbone did not show. There was nothing I could do but just sit there and take that picture, and the collarbone was not collarboning. It wasn't there. And after the yearbook came out, and I flipped through it and was looking at the pictures and was comparing myself to all my friends, I bet you That year, I could tell you how many people, I probably had it memorized, how many people's collarbones did not show like mine. I had it memorized. And eventually, I told my mother, because I was so stressed out. I was so upset when the yearbook did finally come out and I saw the pictures. I was so upset. I was so hurt. I was so disappointed that I told my mom. I told my mother. And at first, my mother was so confused. She was like, huh? Your what didn't show? Because I took the yearbook home and I was like, Mama, my collarbone wasn't showing in the picture and it made me look fat. And she was like, huh? She was so confused. She was like, your what isn't showing? She thought maybe the people had messed up and my bra strap was showing in the picture or something. She was like, what? What wasn't showing? What wasn't showing? Like she was really about to get upset. And I told her it was my collarbone. And she was like, girl, what? Don't nobody care about your collarbone. I was like, yes, they do, because the boys were saying that if your collarbone don't show, that means you fat. And she was like, oh, well, yours ain't showing. And then I had to legit show her what I meant. And she was like, you think that's cute? She was like, you really out here looking at somebody's bones? And I was like, yes. To this day. To this day. That is a core memory for me. Do you know that I was thinking about that this morning and I went and looked in the mirror and I was like, it's still not there. I ain't gonna never have it. To this day, that is a core memory for me. Core. I was looking at that yearbook. I was scanning them. I mean, those pictures are probably burned into my memory bank. Everybody who had the sharpest collarbone. I'm looking at all you would have swore I was a lesbian. The way I was looking at them collarbones. Oh, she got it. Oh, hers is big. Oh, I know they looking at hers. I was a collarbone fanatic. Do you hear me? I was looking at all the girls' collarbones. Forget the boys. I don't care what the boys look like. I was looking at all the collarbones. And then looking at mine. I was disgusted with myself. I was so unhappy. And you know what? I bet you nobody else was even looking at them damn collarbones. They was too busy trying to see that they look cute in the picture. No, I didn't care about looking young. I cared about my collarbone. And my hair was the hair was perfect, okay? The hair was laid. Do you hear me? The hair was pretty. Girl, the skin was flawless because back then we didn't have no filters. They didn't put no filters on our photos. I just had pretty skin. I didn't have no acne. And you know, now when you look back at that, you can look back at those photos and be like, oh, she had a face full of acne. Look how pretty your skin is. But I didn't care. I didn't care. All I cared about was the collarbone. The collarbone was not boning. And it was the boys. It was the boy. You know, and I think this conversation was supposed to be between the boys. Like the boys really wasn't, I don't think they were specifically trying to hurt my feelings. They were talking to each other, if I'm not mistaken, saying how cute, you know, certain girls were, but they were saying it out loud. So, you know, when you saying stuff out loud, you saying it loud enough for somebody to hear it. Oh, they told you you might have to wear two drapes? Oh, no. No, I only had to wear one. But I just didn't feel, you know, I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel cute doing it. Like some you know, like you can tell the girls that felt confident, you know, they just went out there and took their picture. Like when they called my name, I just kind of, you know, because I didn't really want to do it. Because I knew the collarbone wasn't going to be collarboning. But these are things that we make up in our mind. A lot of trauma, especially girls, and I can only speak for girls because I was a girl. I don't know if boys do that because I was asking my husband, do, you know, guys trip off a certain thing? And he was like, no. And he was like, if I had been at your school, I wouldn't have been looking at your collarbone. I probably would have been looking at your booty or something. But like, I don't see myself being turned on by somebody's collarbone. But I had made it up in my mind that the collarbone was a status of beauty. Your beauty and sexiness is based off of how much your collarbone is protruding. And if yours is invisible like mine, you're not pretty. You're not pretty at all. And that was where I was. I had blew that up in my mind. And I wore that all 4 years of high school. I wore that. I'm still wearing that shit to this day because I still don't have it. Now, that's childhood trauma. Now, you want to talk about childhood trauma? That's childhood trauma. That's real trauma. So, there are some things that will follow us from our childhood to our adulthood. And that's one of the things for me. If you want to call me fat, just say that's why you ain't got no collarbone. And that will trigger me. Where's your collarbone? I will get triggered. So if people tell you that there's no such thing as childhood trauma, you tell them to come talk to me. I can dig up some childhood trauma. Okay? But everybody has their own thing from their childhood. Everybody, none of us got out of childhood unscathed. You got something. Yeah, see, I never got teased about my lips. I got teased a little bit about my nose. People used to say I had a big nose. But I always thought my nose fit my face. But my nose got a little bit bigger when I got pregnant. It got a little bigger. And I don't think it shrunk back down. So I blame this on my kids. It got wider and it never went back. Plus, I think my glasses, like, my glasses always sit down and it flattens my nose a little bit. I got teased a little bit about my nose, but not about my lips. But going to an all black school, and when I say all black, I mean we only had like one white family and a few Hispanic kids and one Tongan family. And I don't think the Tongan kids came until like my 10th or 11th grade year. The bulk of the school was African American. So you can't tease me about my nose if your nose look the same way. You can't say big lips or anything if you have big lips. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna hit the same. If your lips big as mine, you can't say I got big lips. If you got big lips, all of us were black. And when I went to school in the 70s, it wasn't a whole lot of mixed kids. We were black, black. Thank you, Mickey. We were black. All of us had black mamas and black daddies. It wasn't, like a lot of the kids are mixed now, because there are more interracial relationships now than they were in the 60s and 70s and 80s. When did y'all start? Y'all started uh mixing interracially, I think more in the 90s and the 2000s, because the 60s, the 70s, and 80s, it was more you had a black mama and a black daddy. So most of the kids at my school were black. And when I say black, I mean both parent black. So you couldn't really tease each other. And the other races of children were so outnumbered that they wasn't playing that, oh, let me call this black kid, I'll take, nah, we wasn't doing that. We wasn't doing that back then. The if you was outnumbered, you kept quiet. So the Mexican kids wasn't, you know, it just wasn't racially, it wasn't racially charged back then. The kids, we weren't racist. The Mexican kids wasn't talking shit about the black kids. The few white kids we had, of course, they weren't gonna say nothing because they were thoroughly outnumbered. Now, the school that my husband went to was mixed. But see, he grew up in, and it wasn't mixed. The black kids were outnumbered, I think. There were more white kids and Filipino kids than I think there were black kids at his high school. I think the blacks were outnumbered because he lived out here in Contra Costa County, and it's more white people out here than it is black. I lived in Oakland. It was more black kids in the area that we lived in than it was white. So my whole entire schooling, elementary, junior high, high school, I was predominantly around black kids. I didn't know what it was like to really be around more white people until I went to college. And that's when I started to, kind of feel uncomfortable because I had never really been around white people like that. Okay, sis, make sure you come back because I'll probably be here tomorrow. I was brought up that there's only one race, the human race, and that skin color doesn't make any difference. Well, that that's a good philosophy to have if everybody else in the world felt like that. But they don't. They don't, other people don't feel that way. And that's not how it's, you know, it would be good if the world really was that way. But skin color does matter. And we are different. We are different culturally. We eat different. We look different. We sound different. There are a lot of cultural differences, and I love to embrace some of those cultural differences. We are not the same. There are so many things. I mean, we're all humans, yeah, but there are a lot of differences in us, and we should be able to celebrate those differences culturally. We eat different. Black people and white people don't season their food the same. We don't eat the same. I can legit tell if I go to a restaurant and who is cooking. Because if it's a lot of white people in the kitchen, the food is normally bland. White people don't season their food. And this ain't a dig against white people. And now some of y'all from the South, y'all different. But I have seen so many white people on TikTok, cooking, on Facebook, cooking, and you just sprinkle a little salt and pepper on your chicken. That ain't seasoned. You don't put two little grains of salt and pepper on a whole chicken breast and call that seasoning? No. We are different. And we should be able to embrace those differences and still love each other. Whoever that is that said hi. I don't have my glasses on. We should be able to embrace those differences and still love each other because we are different. Black people have a different history than white people. And saying that, oh, we're all the same and we should, then that negates who we are as a people. You can't erase our history or erase who we are to, blend us all in together. I don't agree with that. We are human, but we are different. Okay, Peter. I mean, I would love for us to all, hold hands and sing kumbaya and, love each other and stuff. But we still should be able to be who we are and embrace our culture. Love our hair, embrace our natural hair. Our hair is different. The way we talk is different. Our skin texture is different. We're human, but we're different. Black people are different than Hispanics. We look different. We sound different. Culturally we are different. We eat different foods. What they eat in the UK for breakfast, I love watching this show where children, they're teenagers in the UK, are given American foods to try. Like, they may try Popeyes or McDonald's or Burger King or Taco Bell. I love watching them try American food because the food here in America is so different than the food in the UK or wherever overseas. They always say our food is richer, more flavorful. Of course, we have a lot of additives and shit here in the US that may be banned in the UK, because I don't think you guys have Mountain Dew in the UK. Ain't Mountain Dew banned? Ain't Mountain Dew banned in the UK? And we're gonna drink some Mountain Dew, child. Now, Mountain Dew Baja Blast, that's my that is my drink. You hear me? That's my drink. I can, how y'all black folks be drinking Hennessy? I be drinking Baja Blast. I love me some Mountain Dew. But I love that show because the kids, they get an opportunity to see how American kids eat, and a lot of them are like, "Oh my god." Like, these American kids are really eating the McDonald's every day. How do they eat this every day? And then they show what their breakfast is. What, like, a standard UK breakfast is like: beans and sausage and toast and, other stuff. And, a standard US breakfast is bacon, eggs, maybe pancakes, biscuits, toast. Like, I don't eat that kind of stuff every day for breakfast. Like, maybe on the weekends or something. But I mean, some Americans do eat that kind of stuff every day. I don't. It's too heavy for me for every day. But it's just interesting. We are different people. And I love the cultural differences that we have as people. Now, we should be able to coexist and get along with each other and share our cultural differences. Oh, you guys have Mountain Dew? Y'all can get Mountain Dew? We should be able to get along and coexist and share in our cultural differences, and people shouldn't, you shouldn't just dislike me because of my skin color, or I should just dislike you because of your skin color, but we different. I don't know they had a Prime Mountain Dew. Prime has a Mountain Dew? I've never tried that Prime. Isn't that like more of a sports drink? I've never tried it. I've seen it here in the Bay Area, but I haven't tried it. But I love me some Mountain Dew. And because they say Mountain Dew is like a gamer's a gamer's drink. That's like the drink of the gamers. I have been drinking Mountain Dew for the longest. Oh, y'all don't eat the full English breakfast? I was wondering, like, y'all really be out here eating beans and stuff in the morning? Oh, okay. Oh, Prime and Mountain Dew. Yeah, I've never tried Prime. I've seen it. I see it on the shelves all the time. Do you guys have 7-Eleven out there? I know they got 7-Eleven everywhere because they got 7-Eleven in Japan. But do y'all have it? Because I be seeing it all the time at 7-Eleven. But when we think about the differences in breakfast, that English breakfast is always brought up. We always bring that up because I'll be wondering how y'all be eating beans at first thing in the morning. And what made beans a breakfast staple? That was always interesting. Oh, you don't have 7-Eleven in Rochester? We got so many 7-Elevens out here, I hate them. I mean, I love them because it's convenient, because it's always open, but it's one on every damn corner almost. Because I know they 7-Eleven is big in Japan or Asia, in Asian countries. They have a lot of them out there. And the 7-Elevens out there sell real food. The 7-Elevens out here, the only thing real, and this ain't real, is they have pizza, hot dogs, and chicken wings in the hot section. And then they have like sandwiches and nachos. Nachos is big at 7-Eleven. And I would do that when I was young, but I wouldn't try that not in my 50s. I'm not eating no nachos from 7-Eleven in my 50s. I could just see my stomach bubbling. Oh, Rochester, Minnesota. Do you know who did? God did. Huh? Rochester, Minnesota. Okay, Peter. I don't know where my husband going. Mickey said, I take people how they act, moral compass, etc. There's good and bad. Yeah, it's good and bad in all people. So let me talk about what I really came in here to talk about today. And this kind of goes with the trauma. Um, it's not childhood trauma, but it's adult trauma. Was when my son went to jail. Well, both of my kids went to jail. There was a time when both of my kids they didn't get arrested together. They got arrested on separate charges. But it just so happened that I think it was like within days of each other, they both went to jail. And as a mother, I felt like I had failed. This was the first time as a mother I felt like I had failed. And I felt like I had failed big. I took all of that in. It was my fault, even though I had to go to therapy behind that too. Even though I knew deep down in my heart that it wasn't my fault, that I didn't do it, I still had so much guilt and shame behind the fact that my kids had went to jail. I was hurt. I was sad. I felt guilt. I felt shame. I was like, I didn't want to tell anybody that they had went to jail. The only people that I wanted to tell was like my church family. And of course, your people at church, they praying for you. What you smiling for?
It was John that just pulled in, and as soon as I brought the car up here, it was just funny because that was the same thing that happened yesterday. Right at that time too, I said as soon as I pulled from out in front of his house and pulled in, John was just pulling in, and it was just a coincidence.
Okay. But anyway, that was anticlimactic. So, of course, your people at your church are like, oh, we praying for you. We love you. And of course, it's not your fault. Oh, let me ask you this while you in here. Hold on. Y'all hold that thought right there. Make me remember what it is, because we gonna go off the rails for a minute.
Uh-oh.
When you was in high school, what was okay, this is a two-part question. When you was in high school, what was the ratio of black to white? Weren't the black kids outnumbered? Was it more white kids at your high school?
Yeah, I think it was more like maybe 70-30%.
30% black
Thirty
kids
percent black.
and 70% white? Probably, huh?
Probably. Well, white. Um, yeah, I say probably about. I mean, it may have been maybe 35% or something like that black, but I mean, it was clearly we were clearly
Outnumbered.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. What back then, what made a girl pretty? Was you looking at her collarbone?
No, no. Um,
What was one of the standout features that really made a girl pretty?
Pretty was just how they looked, just facial features and things. I don't even think I was really okay. I take that back because body did play a part later on.
You didn't like the chubby girls?
I can't recall too many. I really
Okay.
can't.
Okay, now let's go back. Now, for those of you that are new, my husband, we have known each other since we were 17 years old. So, you knew me back then. You knew me when I was 17.
Hmm.
Did you think I was fat?
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So, all
I
that,
didn't. I didn't think you were fat,
but I wasn't skinny.
but you weren't skinny either. No, I didn't. I mean, no. But I didn't look at you and say, "Oh, you like that big old fat girl." I didn't. No, I didn't look at you like that. No. Mm-mm. I mean, there was skinny. There was
Yeah, I know
there was
I wasn't
skinny,
skinny,
but there.
but I wasn't like fat.
No, I. Okay, the only. let me see. The only
But I didn't have no collarbone, huh?
I didn't know anything about a collarbone. I knew nothing about a collarbone.
See, most boys wasn't even tripping off of that, and here I am still tripping off the fact that I ain't got no damn collarbone.
Yeah, I that wasn't something
You
that
wasn't even looking at that.
I didn't look at that. I mean, of course, breast was a big thing at that time. That was there. You look at that, especially if you were developed. I mean, there was some girls
Yeah, I had breasts.
that there was girls that had not big ones, but they were well developed, and that was, coming like, oh, you see the thing, that was more than, and then legs and butts and stuff like that. That started to play a role.
And when this goes to show how you will make up something in your mind and individually in high school. I used to squeeze my bra, put it on like the last thing to try to make my breasts appear smaller than what they were, because I thought big breasts were too big.
Mm-mm.
So I used to try to make mine look smaller than what they actually were, because I thought that they were too big for my age.
Mm-mm. That was one of the things that would stand out from us. We, you see the titties on her, and that would be the biggest thing. That would be and I think we.
See, I was insecure. I should have been out here playing up on the things that I had. I should have been not tripping off of what I didn't have. I should have been out here being a bombshell, because I was already wearing a girdle, squeezing the stomach in. So I should have squozed that stomach in and pushed them titties up and been walking around the school like and wore some of my mama kitten heels and been clanking around that school like I was.
Kitten heels.
I should have been clanking around that damn school with them kitten heels, and I could have really set it off. I could have been the Marilyn Monroe of my high school. I could have went to school with a fur shawl on.
Well, yeah, that was the.
Cause I had titties. I had some titties now. And my mama was gonna put that girdle on me, and I could have wore the tight girdle and really cinched that waist in and put
What's wrong?
pull them up here
Okay, pull them up here.
and,
Yeah,
and put
that's
that
what it
fur
was.
shawl on and them clickety
That's
clankety
what. But
heels, honey.
if you had cleavage was
I had cleavage.
cleavage was the biggest thing.
But I
too.
was like, oh my God, I don't think I should. I should have been out here in high school. I could have showed them all up because I had it, but I was hiding it. I would be hiding it up under my coat and everything because I didn't want people to see how big they actually were.
Well, I remember the prom queen. I forgot her name, but she had this pretty flowing hair, and she wasn't mixed. Maybe
That
she
could have
was
been me,
mixed.
Phoenix. I could have been out here being Marilyn Monroe every day at school. Every day I could have came to school in a different pair of kitten heels. My mama would have beat the brakes off me if I had left that house in her Sunday go to meeting shoes.
Ooh,
Clanking
maybe
down,
not.
clanking down the street in her Sunday go to meeting expensive heels. Because my mother, she was, like your mama, the epitome of class. The gloves, the purse, the shawl, the shoes, the hat, all of this stuff, matched and coordinated and everything. I could have been stepping into my high school looking like $1 million every day. But I was scared that somebody was gonna be like, look at this fool. Where are you going? Because I never will forget first day of school. I never will forget this. First day of school, I'm a ninth grader. And I don't know if this person was a senior. I don't know if they were a senior. I know they were an upperclassman. But that it was their job to tease us when we were walking in the door. I don't know if I was the first one that got teased, but I got teased. Here I come, just first day of school, thinking I'm cute. I and I probably was looking a mess. I had on like a little jean skirt, some little socks, some little tennis shoes, a cute little shirt, had my little backpack, and my hair was like
You had them plaits.
I had I had one up here, and I had one side. But my hair was long. My hair was long. My ponytails was long. And it was all neat and everything because I had made sure my hair was all combed and neat. I stepped into that school and that girl was like, where in the hell are you going? She was like, don't you come back here tomorrow with your hair looking like that. You look like an elementary school kid. You look like a child. What is wrong with... I mean, she read me down. First
Elementary. I just came from elementary.
first day she read me down. Do you hear me? And she messed up my whole entire day. And then I was like looking at my friends, and some of them was looking just like me, but they didn't get the
They didn't get the beat down.
they didn't get the beat down. So after school, I went home and I was taking my hair down and stuff, and I was like, I'm not wearing my hair like this tomorrow. Them kids was talking about me and said I look like a little kid, and my mother was like,
you are a little kid.
So you gonna let them mess up your day over your hair? And I was like, yes. Are you crazy?
Yeah, y'all just don't understand. That's why you old. You don't understand.
I mean, she read me down. Do you hear me? She talked about my socks. It just, I was like, damn, I can't wear no socks. I didn't know what to do with myself. She just flipped my whole outfit inside out.
Wow.
And I said I would never do that to, the underclassmen when they came in. I wouldn't. Now, I throw paper at you and stuff, but I wasn't going to talk about your whole outfit. God damn. And it's just the fact that I had purposely got that outfit and that hairstyle together. You know how you be, I'm gonna shut it down. Oh, I'm gonna be looking cute. I'm wearing these little socks and my tennis shoes. Oh, I'll be out here looking cute. And as soon as I stepped through the door, she wore my little ass out.
I guess that's a hard. When you pick up, well, you don't expect that from peers.
I didn't think it was gonna be like that. Like I didn't think that the older kids were. I didn't think they were that ruthless because that had never happened before. Like I knew we were okay. We about to be at school with these big kids. I knew they were gonna be big kids, but I didn't know they was gonna. And you know, after that, I did everything I could to stay away from, you know, like the older kids and stuff.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, weaving and bobbing and weaving until you find your own little misfit group.
yeah.
Sit back together.
Until you find a little, you know, you find your clan, other little misfits,
Y'all all group up
and then
together.
we all clump up together, and that's exactly what happened. I got in with the rest of the nerds, and we formed a bond.
But did you ever have, and I'm pretty sure you did, you had that one kid that people talked about or looked at sideways, and they were just marching to their own beat.
Yeah.
They're just
Yes.
like nothing.
Like nothing. They didn't
living
even
in
care.
their own world.
They didn't even care.
They didn't care, but they
It was this one boy. I never will forget him. He came to school every day in a 3-piece suit, tie, vest, jacket, every day. And it wasn't the same suit. Like he would repeat during the week, but it's not like every day he had the same exact suit on. He, you know, he had different suits. He didn't talk to nobody. He had his Bible. I think he wanted to be a minister. Okay, so this is a really sad story though.
Okay, don't finish it.
Okay.
Don't finish
But
it.
anyway, it's not like it's not that bad.
Okay.
He people, you know, would point at him and laugh at him, and he just had his Bible, and he would just be walking through the hallway. He didn't talk to nobody. He never talked to anybody. He did his work, but he, you know, he didn't have any friends. He didn't talk to nobody. He ate lunch by himself. He Lunchtime he would either be walking, or, you know, every now and then you would see him sitting down eating, but usually he'd just be like walking around and stuff. But he didn't focus on nobody. He lived his own life. And my best friend, she was the same way. People used to always ask me, "Can she talk?" Because she didn't talk to anybody but us.
Was that the one that was always reading?
Yeah, Rose. She would always have a book in her hand, and she would be like this, walking down the hallway. She'd just be walking, and the book would be up to her face because she'd be reading, and people would just, you know, just
part the Red
Sea. She
would
just part the Red Sea because they knew she wasn't gonna move. People had just got used to the fact that, you know, that's just Rose. And people would be like, "Do she talk?" Yes, she can talk. She's not mute, because they would never see her talking. And she would talk because we would walk to school every day. She would walk to my house, pick me up, and then we would walk to school. And she would be talking all the way to school. And then when we would get to school, it would be.
Nothing to say.
She wouldn't say nothing.
Well, I was going to clean the car, but I ain't doing that. Detailing. Not today.
Yeah, my floor mat thing need to be cleaned.
I know. And the whole, it's filthy on the inside, all of it. I was going to do it. I was going to bring Gizmo. We was going to hang out again.
Gizmo, you get 2 days of going outside? You ain't ate your breakfast? Tell Daddy get you your breakfast.
You hungry, buddy? Come on.
He had a sausage. He just didn't have no breakfast. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. What y'all saying? Mickey say they like your laugh. I don't.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Don't leave.
What?
Let me tell you about this dream I had. No, don't take him down yet, because it's not long, but just wait.
Hold on.
So this morning, the clanking got on my nerves again. So I had to get up and
The
close
chime?
the chime. I'm gonna have to get rid of that chime. I had to get up and close the window. So I got up and closed the window, and then I went back to sleep. And when I went back to sleep, I had this weird dream that one of your coworkers, I don't know how she found out where we live, but one of your coworkers came to the house and she rang the doorbell, and I opened the door and she was like, "Is Mr. Brown here?" And I was like, "Yeah." Which one? Which Mr. Brown? And she was like, you. And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, hold on a minute." And so I was like, "Baby, somebody for you at the door." And you came to the door and you was like, "Oh, hi, what's going on?" And then you was like, "Babe, this is my coworker, Wompty Womp." And so Wompty Womp was like, "Oh, um, I need some place to stay for the night because something was going on with her and she needed somewhere to stay." And I'm looking at you like,
I know how you be looking at me.
I'm looking at you like, what she come here
What
for?
she at your door for?
And
Oh,
you turned around and said, "Okay." So I said, "Okay."
babe, scoot over.
So I said, uh, uh, "Okay, I'm not gonna fight this. We'll deal with it later." So Whoop de Wonk came in and and got comfortable to the point where the next day came and Whoop de Wonk didn't leave. And so I'm like, what is going on here? And she bucked up at me and said, "Well, he said I can stay." And I'm like, "Girl, I don't care what he said you could do." So she went outside on the patio and was sitting in the backyard. And when she went outside in the patio, she left the door open. She left the door cracked. She didn't close the door. And so I was like, "Hey, you can't just leave the door open like that because we have a dog and we don't want him to get out." And she was like, "Oh, well, okay, whatever." I said, "Well, I think it's time for you to leave." And she was like, "Well, you can't tell me when to leave. Only Mr. Brown can tell me when to leave." So I came to you and I said, "Look, either you gonna tell this girl to get the hell out this house or I'm gonna beat your ass and hers." And you bucked up at me and was like, "You gonna do what? You gonna do what?" And child, I was so mad in the dream that I woke up mad. I woke up like, cause you like, "You gonna do what? You gonna do what?" I was so mad. I was like, "You really about to let this white girl mess up our marriage?
wow.
If you don't put her ass out this house?" I was like, "Where did that come from?"
I had a well, it wasn't lately, but it was some fragment of a dream that about buying a house or something like that, and it was weird. I can't. I've had this twice, I think, that I can think of.
I never have dreams of us arguing. Like, I've never had a dream of me and you arguing or me calling you out your name or cussing at you or anything like that. And so it was crazy.
This was last night.
Well, it was actually this morning
Dang.
because I got up and closed the window about 7:30 And then I just, went back to sleep. And that was the dream that I fell into. I don't know why that wind chime is getting on my last ass nerve lately, but it is.
I didn't notice it until just now. See, now I notice it. I didn't until you mentioned it. I didn't even notice that chime.
So, you know how quiet it is at night?
Mm-hmm.
But see, you will never hear it because your ass be asleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear it. And the crazy thing is, if I fall into a dream, I hear it in my dream. It's clanking in my dream.
Take it down, lady.
I am. I'm not gonna take it down. I want the little bird up there. I'm gonna just take the wind chime part off because it has never bothered me before. Like I've never had noise sensitivity until this. And I don't know if it's the particular sound. I don't know what it is. But I never had that problem before. And I've always had wind chimes. But for some reason, this particular one is not sitting well in my spirit.
Hmm.
Maybe it's the tone. I don't know what it is. But anyway, we're going to go back to where we were. Okay, you can take yes one now. This one
Huh?
this one is
Come on, buddy. Let's go eat.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think it's the tone. But it is windy here. And the janky thing is it's been very windy lately, and where the wind chime is located is
You know, this is off subject. I had it was last week. I meant to tell you. Hot mustard Doritos. Yeah, that's how I. That was the flavor.
hot mustard.
Hot mustard.
Where do you be finding all these weird
At
flavored?
the shortstop up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hot mustard?
It was just hot mustard. And I just figured, okay, it's got to be something, but no, it was as if you took a bag of Doritos and just poured some spicy hot mustard down in there, and they taste. I was like, that's a weird flavor. And I haven't been able to find my Baja the mango one.
The mango ones?
Yeah, I've been looking for those because he's sold out. So
look on Amazon.
yeah,
They may have them on. Why was he looking at me like that?
because he's like, come on, man, you talk too much.
Um, what was I finna say? Oh, where the wind chime is located is on the back side of the house. It's the walkway on the back side of the house, and the wind just the way these houses are made, the wind just down through there. Even when you walk down through there, it's windy. It's just the way these houses. We're in the guest house, basically. We have our own entrance to the house because we're in a guest house, kind of. So we have our own door to go out. I'm probably not explaining it right. But when you go out, you're going out towards the back of the house. Is how it's made. And the wind chime is on that breezeway. And it gets a lot of wind. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just I don't know if it's just the way that because wind chimes are made different. I don't know if it's the what that wind chime is made out of. It's just I don't know. The sound is just irritating my soul. So I think you can cut the part that clanks. I think if I cut that part out, it won't chime anymore. I'm gonna see if that works because I want the bird to stay up there because the bird is cute. I don't know, child. But anyway, let's go back to what I was talking about. This happened to me. Both of my kids got arrested at the same time. I think like a couple of days apart from each other. And I legit fell into a depression. I was at home, and this was the first time that I was like at home by myself. I was at home by myself with two pit bulls because my son had a dog at the time. He had a Staffordshire Terrier, and then I had a smaller pit bull. So I'm at home by myself with two dogs that I had to take care of because everybody was in jail. And as a mother, feeling like I had failed. I had failed. Like I didn't put none of that blame on their father or anything who, to be honest, wasn't pulling his weight. Like he didn't care. I put all of that guilt and shame, I carried all of that the whole time they were in jail. I carried that. It was my fault that I didn't do enough. And I was doing everything in my power. When I look back on it, I was doing everything in my power to make sure that they didn't go down that road. I talk to my kids all the time. I put them in extracurricular activities. I took them to church. I was trying to make sure they had positive role models. I felt like I was doing everything right, but they still did everything wrong. Everything they could. Everything they could get into, they got into. Like they were fighting in school. I put them in therapy to figure out, what was going on. Like I did everything that I thought my kids needed, I was doing. I spent time with them on the weekends. I took them to museums. I took them to the movies. I took them out to eat. All of these things that you think your kids need. I dressed them nice. They had Jordans. They had, they went to the Gap. They had Old Navy. All of the stuff that you think you could give your kids to help them be successful. I had men in their lives who would take them fishing and, you know, take them to baseball games, all kind of shit. And my kids still wanted to sell weed and hang out with the thugs They still wanted to live that Tupac mentality, that, they wanted to live that thug life. You got a mama, the squarest of the square. You got a mama at home making pot roast and cooking greens and cornbread and spaghetti and chicken Alfredo and cookies and cakes and all of this stuff. Squarest mama on the block. And you want to be out here selling weed. And I internalized all of that. All of it. I was in my mind, I was the worst mother in the world. I was horrible. I was trash. I was. I had, like, I beat myself to the core behind that. Like, I was legit depressed. And I had did everything that I even now when I think about that, it's nothing more I could have done. I couldn't have done anything else. Those were just decisions that they made. I couldn't have changed their mind. Now, my youngest son is a mechanic for Ford. He is a journeyman mechanic. I'm so proud of him. He has a daughter. He has changed his life around. He graduated from what college? I forgot the name of the college. But he graduated with his AA in mechanics or something. Whatever it was, the Ford sent him to school. He had to complete these courses in order to obtain his journeyman mechanic status. So Ford paid for him to go to school. He finished all of that. He is a certified journeyman mechanic. He can work at any uh, company he wants. He's just working for Ford right now. I think later he said he want to go to like Range Rover or Porsche or these high end car companies. He, I think, wants to work for one of those eventually. Now my oldest son, he's still doing some things. He ain't really found his niche yet, but they not in jail. And it took me a while to get to the point where I didn't feel guilty and I didn't feel disgusted, where it took me a while because I didn't want to blame my kids. Like, I didn't want to blame them. I just felt better carrying that blame on myself because they were like in their early 20s. And I felt like, their mind is not developed yet. They really don't understand consequences and, how they're not only messing up their lives, but you messing up my life too. They didn't understand that because their minds weren't developed enough to understand that yet. I understood it, but I still blamed myself. I just think some of us feel like we're required to have it hard. And I just don't understand that when you don't have to have it hard. You don't have to have it hard. Like, go to college, graduate from high school, go to college, and get you a job. You don't have to get it out the dirt. Hey, Sundrop, you don't have to get it out the dirt. You don't have to, live that rapper mentality. Because, like, one of my sons, like, he really did have, I think he still want to be a rapper. He really wanted to live that. I think he got Thug Life tatted across his chest, or Thug Life, or he got something. He got something. I gotta ask him. Is it Thug Life, or he got something tatted across? Yeah, I mean, I knew that I was a good mother. I knew deep down in my heart that I did everything I could. Now, if I hadn't did shit, if I was just some crackhead that wasn't doing nothing for their kids, it would have been different. I have a cousin a year younger than me, male, smart, athletic. His mother, who hates me, always compared us for some reason. He squandered a full ride scholarship to be a dope boy. Went to jail and all, had more and was more spoiled, more material items. Sundrop said, as a female, I wanted to be a gangster rapper. Go, Sundrop! A Christian rapper. I wanted to be a Christian. I was writing Christian raps, but this was before gangster rap was a thing though. I was like really into poetry in high school, and I was writing a little Christian rap, but it was like, it was real Christian though. It was no gangster rap back then. Yeah, it was more poetry. See, my kids, they had too many opportunities. Like, I put them in everything. I put them in Boy Scouts. I had them in everything. They had every opportunity to be around the nerdy kids. But what would they do? They would scout out all the little thug kids at their school and want to hang out with them. Just, they were just thug kid magnets. You wrote a song where you got two gangster rappers say, okay, yeah, you was a little, you did a little bit more than I did, because this I was doing poetry before there was like gangster rappers. Like, my poetry was like about Paul and Silas, and like really Bible, really Bible rapping. So there was a period of time when I was really depressed. Really, really, really depressed. And it all had to do with my kids. And I felt like, oh God, the worst thing in the world is being a single mother, because you don't have anyone to bounce that energy off on. You don't have nobody to talk to. I felt like I couldn't talk to their daddy because I felt like he didn't care. Because if you cared, you would be helping. And then half the time he wouldn't come to the court dates because he was like, they done made up their mind what they want to do. I can't change their mind. And I felt like, well, you should be trying. I'm doing everything I can to, try to keep. And he was like, yeah, but you're not succeeding. They're not listening to you, and they're not gonna listen to me either. And he was like, let their ass go to jail. Let them go to jail. Maybe that's what they need. But as a mother, you don't want to see your child in jail. You don't want them to have to face those type of consequences. That's not what you want for your kids. Even though that was what they had to deal with. They had to they had to go through that. That's their story to tell. They had to go through that to get to where they are. But it was painful for me. I wasn't doing the time. I wasn't behind bars, but I did time too. I felt alone, just um abandoned. My issues came back up. I hated it. And I hated it, that they were locked up. I was worried about them, not knowing that they ass was in jail with people that they knew, because it was other boys from the hood that they knew, and they came home with their stories of what happened while they was in there. And jail wasn't what, because they were, at the time, they were in county lockup. And jail wasn't what we see in movies. You know, people in county lockup weren't trying to unalive each other. Like my son was like, it wasn't even fights like that. Because he was saying it was mostly people that they knew, other people that they knew from the hood, some friends that they didn't got locked up together. So it wasn't as horrible as I had made it up in my mind. Like in your mind as a mother, you're thinking somebody gonna hurt your child in jail. Sometimes as people, we have to go through it and make our own mistakes. They definitely proved that to me. And like the whole time I was like, would it have been like this if I had girls? Like, God, why did you give me two boys? And then you gave me the roughest two boys in the world. You just knew. Why did you think I was tough enough to deal with this? But I did. I dealt with it. When it first happened, I swear I didn't think I was going to be able to. I did not think I was going to be able to deal with it. But I did. I did. You have to. And I feel for single mothers to this day, especially when I see stuff on the internet where a child has done something and then the people say, oh, well, the parents should be charged. You don't know what these parents have been through. You don't know if these parents did everything they could for that child and that child just decided to make the wrong decision. That's not the parents' fault. Because I really feel like I was that parent. I felt like I did everything I could for my kids, but they still just decided to do the wrong damn thing. Just make the wrong decisions, hanging out with the wrong crowd. And I would tell them all the time, like my youngest son, he would sneak out the house. His bedroom was downstairs. He would sneak out of his bedroom window until I finally told him, stop doing that. Stop sneaking out that window before you have a freak accident and fall and break your neck going out that window. If you want to leave, just go out the front door. Just leave out the front door. You don't have to sneak out the window like an animal. Like, oh my God, he used to piss me off. Taking the screen off of his window, sneaking out the window. Just go out the front door. You don't have to sneak out. Just go out the front door. We went through all of that. And that was not on me. That wasn't on me. Those are decisions that you chose. Yeah, I never went to visit them in jail. I wasn't doing that. I went to their court dates, and that was it. I'll see you when you get home. I write you a letter, but I'm not coming to visit because you chose to be here. After I warned you and you knew better, you still chose to come here. So I'm not visiting. They had little girlfriends that would come up there and visit. I wasn't going up there. And I meant that shit. I never went. But it took me a while to shake that shame and guilt and embarrassment that I felt as a mother dealing with that. That's why I have so much compassion for single mothers because it ain't easy. It's not easy. And I really have a hatred for men that just walk away from their kids and don't help. It's hard raising kids by yourself. And it's not like I was just out here having babies by random dudes. I was married. Both of my kids are by the same person. The marriage just didn't work out. And when the marriage didn't work out, my ex-husband basically turned his back on me and the kids. And it's difficult. That's not the life that I wanted. And as a mother, you can only stretch yourself so thin. You're trying to work, you're trying to pay bills, Your kids get to, teenagers, you trying to, work, watch what they doing. It's just too much. It just got to be too much. But I'm grateful for where we are now, but it was a lot. There was a period of time. I think that's what like started my high blood pressure, all that stress and stuff started my high blood pressure, and my blood pressure has never been normal since, because it was a period of time when I was stressed out. Stressed out. But I just thank God that in the end it all worked out. All of the not only my prayers, my church at the time, they were all praying for me. My mama, them boys, my kids don't realize the prayers that were stored up for them. I'll be telling my kids now, I don't have no cartilage left in either one of my knees. I wore these knees out praying for y'all, praying that they would not be a statistic. The knees was wore out because we lived in one of the worst. I mean, it is bad now. If you look at the statistics of Oakland, California, it is a very high crime area. I think the crime is worse now than it was when my kids were teenagers. But, it kind of went through this little drug uh, period where, guys were fighting over territories, and it's weed. They were selling weed. But for teenagers and 20 somethings, that shit's serious. Like, it's enough to unalive each other over. Territory is enough to unalive each other over. Hi, Mackenzie. Girl, they were the gangsters in Oakland. My kids were the gangsters in Oakland. They were the early 2000s? No, mid 2000s. Gangsters of Oakland, 3500, 9800. They were the gangsters. Shit. Yes, they were the gangsters. Rolling around in Mercedes and Lexus coupes. They were the gangsters. For East Oakland, yes, they were definitely East Oakland gangsters. That that was their whole mentality. Because they had both of my kids. They had the dreadlocks. Back then it was white t-shirts and jeans. That was the whole vibe. The East Oakland vibe was the white t-shirts, the snapback hats, Jordans, and jeans. And the people that they looked up to were like the Tupac, and what was that other rapper that got killed? Oh, Mac Dre. My son loved Mac Dre. Mac Dre got killed. It was, it was just that East Oakland has always had Biggie, but Biggie was not, Biggie was East Coast. My kids were more West Coast Bay Area rappers. Too Short. The Bay Area, if you look at any documentaries about the Bay Area has its own flair. East Oakland, people know East Oakland. If you from the Bay Area, you know East Oakland. My kids have lived in East Oakland all their life. They were straight East Oakland. My son got a tattoo on his neck. Money over bitches. To this day. Right here. MOB. That was I don't want to say it's a gang, but it was a movement back in the day. MOB. It was a movement. Money over bitches. That was the mentality that they had. Let me see if I can see a picture of Hakeem so you can see it. Cause it's there. The the tattoo. Oh, what is that? I forgot this phone don't act right. But yeah, here's a tattoo right here. A big one too. It's not like it's a little dinky tattoo. It covers all of this. Now it's not as dark as it used to be. When he first got it, I was hurt. I was hurt because I was like, you ain't gonna never get a job with that on your neck. Why would you get that on your neck? Oh, I was so hurt. I was so hurt. But he did. He did get a job. But I was just like, he gonna be ghetto all his life. You know, that was my that was my initial thought. I was like, he gonna be ghetto all his life. Because it's no way, it's no way he is going to be able to live a normal life with that ghetto ass tattoo on his neck. I don't know if you can really see it in this photo. Oh, yeah. Just right there. Just, and I always was like, oh my God. Every time I looked at it, I was just like, Lord Jesus, Lord, why? But he has a decent job now. He's living a regular life. And I wonder, like when he meets young ladies, taking them out to dinner, and they see that. Because like I consider myself to be I'm not bougie, but I'm classy. And if I met a young man and he had that tattoo on his neck, Phoenix said, I learned so much about gangs when I lived in Chicago that they can be positive forces, or at least when the young ones listen to the OGs. So I had to consider the young people I work with individually. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything positive about gang mentality. I don't. I don't see anything positive about it. I know sometimes the OGs try to help, but if you was really gonna help, you would tell them to stay out of that life. Period. Ain't nothing positive about that thug life, that gang mentality life. Send them kids back to their parents because the negative outweighs the positive. You're not teaching them nothing wholesome. I just that if I met a dude and he had that and he was a good guy, I still would be thinking, like, what led you to want to get that? Especially if I know what MOB means, money over bitches. Even if you didn't change your whole life around, you still had the mentality at one time, money over bitches, to the point where it's plastered across your neck. I will still be looking at you sideways. Yeah, they may have functioned like a family, they had a brotherhood, but at the end of the day, they still doing things that could end up getting somebody hurt. Cause when it came down to it, they still doing illegal stuff. If you in a gang, you have a tattoo. There is some type of tattoos. I don't know nobody in the gang that left up out of there and didn't without any type of tattoo or marking or something. Because you don't just wear the colors of your gang. The majority of them have tattoos for whatever set that they're in. They had them teardrops and all that kind of stuff. Those are all gang markings. Even if they're small, they got something. And my son just happened to get something just all on his neck. Yeah, but they have something. The Crips and the Bloods and all of them, they have some type of markings. The majority of them do have tattoos. And I don't want to say tattoos are big here in the Bay Area, but tattoos are thugs, most thugs and criminals and jailhouse people, they all have tattoos. You ain't gonna leave the jail probably without a tattoo. Most people in prison come out with some type of jailhouse tattoo or something. They all got something. And if I dated a guy And even if he was professional, then changed his life around, and he got like a teardrop tattoo, I'm still gonna be looking at him sideways, because like, what was you doing when you was in your teens or early 20s that you got like a teardrop on your face, or you got a Crips or Bloods tattoo? So when I was doing therapy, these were some of the things we discussed in training. I don't see them as being too different structurally than my sorority, except I don't want to risk my freedom. I see them being totally different than a sorority, because people in sororities are not committing crimes. Y'all not plotting to take down other gangs and do drive-bys in sororities, are you? It's a huge difference between the Crips and Bloods and sororities and fraternities. They it's a huge difference. I don't think y'all out here plotting and thinking about. I don't think the AKAs, or the Deltas is talking about driving by what's the ones in the red? Is the Deltas the ones in the blue? I always get y'all mixed up. I don't think they plotting about driving by the pinkies and shooting up the place when they think all y'all gonna be there. Yeah, the activities are totally different. The mindset is totally different. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure some of the sorority girls be fighting, but I don't think they out here trying to kill each other. I think it's different. I don't think they trying to kill each other. The Crips and the Bloods, they got long standing beef. Just like the 9800 and 3500, they got beef. Y'all, the sororities and fraternities, the sororities don't have beef with each other. That's dangerous. Yeah, they're not trying to kill each other. That's the difference with gangs. Like, these people are ruthless. They don't care about the life of other people. That's the thing that I never wanted for my kids. Like, I never wanted them to have the mentality that another person's life is not important. And that's what a lot of these gangs, yeah, they may have a brotherhood, but you teaching these young kids, that other people's lives don't matter. I don't think the Masons are. I've never heard of Masons coming together killing people. I've never heard of that. Now, they may have exclusivity. They have different signs, and that they don't allow people to have. But my father was a Mason. My mother was an Eastern Star. They never talked about killing anybody. Never. That was not what the Masons. I don't know what Masons y'all be talking about. But the Masonic lodge that my father belonged to was like on the Flintstones when Fred and Barney went to the lodge. They hung out and did things for the community. I don't know what Masons y'all be talking about. Now y'all be on some different Masons than what the Masons in Eastern Star, like the Southern Black Masons in Eastern Stars were. I don't know what y'all be talking about now. Yeah, I mean, I don't like I've heard it's and it's not just you. I have heard other people refer to Masons as being gangs. The Masons to me is just an offshoot of the fraternal organizations. These were black men who came together to try to do things in the community. Now, yeah, a lot of the stuff that they did was secret because it's a secret organization, just like fraternities. A lot of the stuff that the fraternal organizations do, they keep it within the organization. But the Masons were the same way. I just looked at the Masons like an older offshoot of the fraternities. They were just older men who did things for the community. The majority of Masons that I knew were deacons in the church. These were church men. These were not gang members. So I'm not really sure what parallel people are drawing to Masons now, or have Masons changed from what they used to be? Because my dad was a Mason and my mother was an Eastern Star. And they went to banquets and they raised money for schools and communities. They were just normal people. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're beyond redemption, but I feel like once you're in that gang culture, you're in that gang culture. Once you're in, it's hard to get out. And when you have the older people, I don't feel like the older people in gang culture help kids at all. You're not helping these children by bringing them into the gang and telling them we're your family, because you're bringing them into a situation that will eventually hurt them even more than probably their own family is doing, because they're teaching them how to use guns, how to run drugs, how to disobey, normally how to disobey their mother. Oh, because you got to do this, you got to stand on this block. So the OGs aren't helping them, is what I'm saying. Because I've seen it too many times. I've seen it with my own children. They're not helping. Gang members do absolutely nothing for our community. We should consider them individually based on what they were involved in, and the groups can function as families and provide protective factors. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. They don't provide anything for these kids. They're gangs. There's nothing good about a gang. They're not helping these kids at all. The majority of these, especially in inner cities like Chicago, you know how many kids have lost their lives because they, joined gangs? Like, I've seen so many documentaries about Chicago, and like I saw one, as a matter of fact, one young lady that went to the same high school as me lost both of her sons. She only had two boys. She lost one of them to like gang violence, and then 2 years later, she lost her other son. And mostly all of the videos that I see about, gangs in Chicago, in New York, it's just death. It's death. It's nothing good about it. The this gang, the that gang, they rolling up on these people and having a shootout. It's nothing good about that. Oh yeah, we all family. We wear the colors. We take care of each other. Go out there and kill him, Mikey. And then Mikey go out and kill somebody, and it hit the streets that Mikey did it, and then the next week Mikey dead, 15 years old. But the OGs brought him in and loved on him and treated him like he was family. Now his family, his real family, don't even have enough money to bury him. Yeah, I mean, I have known people who have gone on later in life after serving time, who have gotten out of gangs and have become productive members of society, but you have done so much damage before you got to the part where you became a productive member in society. You have done so much damage. You have hurt so many families and caused so much destruction that then you want to get your life together. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've worked with people who have did it. But you, in the process of getting your life together, how many lives have you destroyed? That's my only thing. Yeah, it of course is a case by case basis, but the majority of people who have, lived that gang violence life have messed up other people's lives. Like my kids, I don't know how many friends they have went to funerals of. They have friends now who are laying in a cemetery that's their age. And my youngest son, his one of his best friends is doing 10 years, I think, on a gun charge. And I think he only been in there about 3 years. He got about seven more years to do before he can get out. Because I think he caught a federal charge and he got to do all that time. So I worked on the South Side. I have no male youth that weren't affiliated, and all the girls were in cliques except for the 10-year-olds. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine working in like Chicago or New York, because I know New York has a big gang population also, right? I know Chicago, Wales, Detroit. I think Detroit. Yeah, but I mean, don't a lot of these police departments have like gang affiliations? Because I know Oakland had some years ago they had a big scandal with they were like running drugs and stuff. The police were. They had a big scandal with the police department. The police always be involved in stuff like that because it's money, it's money in drugs. So they gonna always be involved. Yeah, I mean, the police and the firefighters, all of those organizations, they all like stick together. And I'm not saying that is all police officers are bad because my husband used to be a police officer and he's not a bad person. He wasn't a police officer for long because he saw a lot of corruption in the police and he got out because that just ain't him. But there are some good officers. I mean, it's bad people in everything. It's good teachers, it's bad teachers. It's good ministers, it's bad ministers. So it's good and bad in every organization. There's gonna be some good people in there, and it's gonna be some bad people in there. Yeah, my husband was in the military also. I mean, it's good people in the military, it's bad people in the military. It's good and bad everywhere. But when it comes down to like people in gangs, I just don't think it's no good people in gangs. Not active. Now you may get out, but I don't think while you in there you a good person because it's too much bad going on in it's no good gang activity. It's bad. Them bad people. It's unfortunate, but they are bad people. Well, I don't think it's too many people that's just affiliated though. You know, I don't think it's too many people that's just like gang affiliated and you're not really in the gang. Because why would you want to be affiliated but not like really in the streets? Well, how was they affiliated? They was just saying they was a gangster, but they wasn't really a gangster. Because out here people don't play like that. If you can't be like affiliated and you not really from there. Like I'm from West Oakland. I'm from Acorn, the Acorn Projects. I can't just, say I'm affiliated because they gonna be like where was you from? I'm from 10th Street. I'm legit from the projects of West Oakland. And then I moved from West Oakland to East Oakland. So you're not gonna be affiliated with the projects if you're not from there. Because people will ask you like where you from. And if you don't know the area, they gonna know you not from there. And I'm from East Oakland. I stayed in the Diamond District. I always made it sound like it was better than what it was. I always said I was from the Diamond District, and people be like, "Where?" Okay, I'm from 35th. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that can't be Diamond. Because I didn't want to be like, "Oh, I'm from 35th." So I would be like, "Oh, I'm from the Diamond District." That's because that's how the white people said it. I never wanted to make it seem like I was from the hood. I always been bougie. I wonder, do my kids still, do they say where they was from? I'm gonna ask my son. Like when people ask you now, now that you're grown, if people ask you like where you grew up, do you say 35th, or do you say East Oakland, or do you just say Oakland? Because I'll say Oakland. And then if the person wants to be more specific and say like what part of Oakland, then I'll say East Oakland. But if the person doesn't, isn't specific, I'll just say I grew up in Oakland. Because growing up in East Oakland and growing up in West Oakland is two totally different things. Even though it's the same city, it's just different. West Oakland is slower than East Oakland. East Oakland always had, this rough roughness about it. The East Side. And I grew up in West Oakland. It was just a little slower. Like Denzel Washington is Blackstone. I doubt he's out here doing crazy stuff, but he's affiliated from his youth and family. Denzel is probably so far away from that. Denzel don't. I'm pretty sure he's not out here claiming that. What, he grew up in Chicago? Did he grow up in Chicago? Yeah, but I think affiliated is a strong term though. I wouldn't say affiliated. Just because you are born somewhere doesn't mean that you are affiliated. Like I was born in West Oakland. I don't know if it's any like I don't think anybody, well, yeah, okay. So West Oakland, the like shady part of West Oakland is still the shady part of West Oakland, the bottoms. That's what they used to call like the shady part of West Oakland. But I didn't live in the bottoms though. So I wouldn't be affiliated with that. Cause West Oakland is broke off into Oakland is broke off into so many different like subgroups that just because you from West Oakland don't mean you from the bottoms. You could be from a different part of West Oakland. You could be from the quiet part, and well, I was from the projects. And just because you from West Oakland don't mean you from the projects. Yeah, but if you haven't been there in a long time, why would you still be affiliated with that? Don't Denzel live in like Hollywood or whatever? Let me see. Where do Denzel live? I don't even know if he live in LA. Let me see. I'm nosy. Oh, he does live in LA. So why would he still? And I'm pretty sure he been in LA for eons. Ever since he been rich. So why would he still have affiliation to Chicago? So you look at affiliation as relationship, not the way the police look at it. Well, why would he still, after being in LA for 40 years, why would he still be affiliated to Chicago? Just because that's where he was born. Like I would think all his affiliation now would be to LA because he's been there for so long and that's where he has basically made a name for himself. You know what I mean? Like all of his accolades and everything are in Los Angeles. So why would he still have an affiliation to where he not he went back home and saw some young men sitting on a porch, maybe where he used to live, and the young man was Blackstone. Well, what is Blackstone? Is that an area or is that uh, a gang? Yeah, he may have he may have been born and raised in Chicago, but Denzel didn't make it big until he got to Hollywood. Until he started making movies, that's when he got big. I wouldn't. I can't see Denzel affiliated with a gang. I would have to see the documentary because he too Hollywood. Like that would be the last thing that I would associate him with. And maybe he did, go through his little rough phase, but I can't see him affiliating himself with a gang. Yeah, I would have to see the documentary. What is it on? Netflix? 'Cause I ever seen a documentary about I don't think I've really seen a documentary about Denzel. I've seen pictures of him when he was a little kid on something, but I don't think I've seen a documentary per se about him. I know he used to go to the like boys and girls club because I think He's made he's given money to the Boys and Girls Clubs because I think he said he used to like go there after school because his mom would be working or whatever. I think he's made like contributions to the Boys and Girls Club. Because didn't they name a Boys and Girls Club after him in Chicago or something? I know I saw something like that. How long we been on here? I'm gonna go. My mouth getting dry. Yeah, and y'all know when my throat start getting dry and I'm drinking water and my throat is still getting dry, I'll be ready to go. Cause that mean I didn't talk too much. I didn't let too much air. Um, Black Pea Stone Nation. Okay, I'm gonna look and see. I didn't let too much air go in my throat, and my throat dry. And once my throat gets dry, it's time to go. So I'll probably come back tomorrow. I don't know what we're gonna talk about tomorrow. As a matter of fact, my husband needs to take me to 7-Eleven because I done run out of pumpkin seeds. And that's what I like to snack on at night. I like to sit up in my bed and snack on my pumpkin seeds. That's my nighttime snack. Girl, that's okay. We just be talking. This ain't, this wasn't no like serious we just be talking, girl. I don't have no I had finished talking about what I was talking about anyway. Shit, we was just talking. It's all interrelated. Gang affiliation, thug life. It's all interrelated in what we was talking about. We didn't get sidetracked. We just talking. I love having conversations. We just be talking. If it's anything that y'all want to bring up and talk about, just let me know and we'll talk about it. I don't be this ain't structured like it used to be. We just out here having fun. So I probably I thought that was the Amazon truck. Child, the Amazon truck come here so much, I can damn near hear him when he pull up and stop in front of the driveway. Cause my sister-in-law, she be having packages every day. God damn. I thought my husband be getting some packages. But she be getting stuff every day. And I thought that was the Amazon man coming back. Yesterday, I opened the door to go outside and get something out the car. And I'm coming out the door, and the postman is coming up to the door to ring the doorbell to hand me to put the package down. Because usually our postman, if it's a package, he'll ring the doorbell and sit the package down and leave. And so I guess he was just getting ready to do that. And I opened the door. I scared him and he scared me. And he just handed me the package. And I left. If it's Amazon, they just throw shit over the gate. Sometimes they'll open the gate and bring it all the way to the door. But half the time, they just be dropping the package over the gate. Lazy asses. You can open the gate. The gate ain't that hard to open and walk over there and sit it on the porch. But they ain't going to do that shit. So I thought that was the Amazon man pulling up. Okay, y'all, I'm finna go out here and get this wind chime and cut the chime off and just leave the cute little uh, bird up there. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I see you tomorrow. I love you. Bye.